Okay, well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Hello World podcasting with Magdalena. And as always, tonight I have my guest again here from the People's Inspirational Network, Christy. And I'm so excited that we can actually continue again today with our chats and our debates. And before we go on, I just wanted to pull the disclaimer. All the conversations that we have and all the topics are our conversation. These are the ideas, what we are concerned, and we are trying to share with the folks. And anybody who thinks that we are doing a misinformation or wrong information, before you attack us or make any statement, please research the topic. Other than that, let's have fun and let's see what direction the conversation will go. Well, Christy, good evening. Good to see you or hear you.
Hi, thank you for having me as always. These conversations get pretty interesting, so I'm excited to have this one.
Yes, and you know what? We've been kind of debating about so what direction we might want to go, and let's see what direction the energy will take us. But as we said, I would like to start with the information overload and what all these things may cover. So let's begin.
Ugh. Well, also, let's put the disclaimer out there that we are not giving medical advice or legal advice
Absolutely.
or financial advice or any advice. Again, this is just our conversation of where our conversation has taken us through this information overload.
Exactly. So where do we want to start? What is the
Well,
biggest issue or biggest challenge? What you think you are kind of getting rubbing on?
I'll try to compact this so that it doesn't get to I don't go off into too many tangents, because one thing always leads to another in our conversations, which is great. But that might be a little bit difficult for an audience. So I'm going to try to compact it.
Thank you.
In some of the things that we've been um, reviewing, an article was put in front of us about um, the prophecy of Ra Who for 2027. And well, Magdalena, you'll put a link to the article so that people
Yes,
can
I
read
will
the full
do.
article for themselves under the show link.
Yes.
But they so you and I were reading the article and we started picking it apart, thinking like, well, who is this? Is there someone behind it? Is there someone paying for this information? Why are they trying to pre-program us for what's coming in 2027? Why are they labeling children and putting all this pressure on children? As you and I have discussed before, how they've classified, children of my generation, indigo children or water children. That could be a lot of pressure. Furthermore, since I do a lot of archiving for the People's Inspiration Network, just the information overload and trying to muddle through what is true information, what's fragmented information, what's misinformation. And then we started noticing quite a few young influencers um, pushing certain topics. And to me, after doing so much research for so many years and putting all this together and archiving it, I find it quite peculiar that a lot of these young people have the knowledge unless they're being paid for. To me, it seems like someone is behind these messages, pushing these messages, making them popular, and these young people are being paid to, to put out these
Well, what I will
pre-programmed bits of information.
Chrissy, what I would like to add to that is right now is that what we are actually talking is about the human design. And let's just say that in the beginning, I was very excited about the human design, but now I am actually questioning more and more. I love the human design on some level, but I am actually disturbed by this article. That's how we actually came in this whole conversation, so that people will have an idea what we are talking about more.
Yes, but the one article led into also the things that I've been seeing in my regular archiving
Mm-hmm.
for
Mm-hmm.
the library and the network. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, also,
Yeah.
what I would like to add from what I am following is that I've been telling you right now for a couple of weeks that how upsetting it is that all the information is getting so strangled, and actually now they are putting so much restriction on it, and everybody's kind of going actually turning around the information that it's a misinformation. And I mean, I was blown away when I was reading just a title last week that somebody was talking about that actually Trump and Trump followers as look like a Hitler. I mean, seriously, people. I mean, this is a little a heavy duty situation here, because what is really happening? We are being pushed, Christy, in one direction. Nobody is giving us to explore what is really going on. People are just labeling without further knowledge. And that's, I am thinking, that is hugely dangerous, because in the last 3-4 years, there was so much information withholden from the people, or being held back, that could actually become as would be beneficial, and people would be able to handle situation totally different. But because the media and many people, or actually even in the leadership, they did not allow those information to come to the surface, but they were actually pushing the misinformation. And we know that even all those medical journals and even political stuff, it's constantly manipulated.
Yeah. As you were saying that, the thing that came to mind is these are, from what I've recently learned myself, these tactics, and they are tactics, from a skilled master manipulation type of course. There are books written on it. I guess you can take courses on it. Don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure, but I do know
Mm-hmm.
that there are books on it because I found one of the books and thought, wow, these are real tactics that you can and skills that you can learn to use against your political opponent, or someone that you're a narcissist, or in business type thing, to get ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And the name calling of the, oh well, if you're a part of this group, you're the most severe of a Nazi or a criminal kind of thing. Yet those people who are saying those things seem to overlook um, other people in certain NGOs who are real life doing those things, or real
Yeah.
life part of those groups, and
Mm-hmm.
yet they do nothing about it, or they don't dig deeper. Those people, I let me try not to be too confusing. The name callers, the ones who feel like they're entitled to lash out and label people based on fragmented or false information from January 2021, I believe. um they are they I do believe they feel a little bit of entitlement. Maybe some of them are being paid to say these things. It's very difficult to tell.
But don't you think that is very disturbing? that those people who are taking money doing these statements or actually, attacking other people, and they are the one who may be promoting more false information. So my issue with that
Yes.
is that with that false information, you can actually impact somebody's life.
Yes, as a matter of fact, a personal story. I was this a little sad for me. We had a close friend who committed suicide over this kind of
I'm
stuff.
sorry to hear that.
And it has been devastating. And I would never have thought that it would hit this close to home. Um, but it did, and it was over this whole issue. And it started with the January 6th thing, and people are, I don't want to say getting restless. I think people are getting concerned, and they feel with the name calling, with the labeling, with the no, I think they feel like there's no hope coming out of their elected officials, right?
Mhm.
I'm seeing it as a, well, if I see it and I can determine, wade through the BS basically, then certainly the elected officials are, and a lot of people just feel like the whole um, idea of what this country is based on and founded on is gone, and that is sometimes too much to take for some people. But that was this specific reason why, and
Yeah.
it is devastating. So they are causing a great deal of harm.
And you know what the biggest issue is, that you are not allowed to express yourself. You are not allowed to bring any facts, because no matter what, it's just such a one-sided approach. And it's
Yeah,
all, it's look like it's always just covering their side. They are not giving the opportunity to other people, or maybe other point of view, to express themselves. No matter how much good or impactful information you may have, they're actually blocking that.
that is true. I experience that at least once a week, either through Instagram or TikTok. And just by sharing the information or asking the question, and not in a I'm on this side or that side. It's more like this is this is pure evidence, video footage of what we're seeing in this area or during this time. How does this make you feel? And because of some of the, who, what part of the video or something that's in the video, or just because I'm asking the question, I'm violating, United Nations human rights guidelines. And that's coming
Well,
through TikTok. That's not
that's
even,
That's very
that's,
interesting, because actually they are the one who actually put themselves as this things organization that can actually overlook. Yet in the reality, they are doing 180.
well, I think that conversation, that rabbit hole is a little bit deeper than, and this
Yes,
this might be a good topic for another show.
yes.
I have dived very deep into that, and I would have to pull out a book to read some excerpts for
Mhm.
you on where that actually comes from. I'm quite aware, so I just try to be careful with it. Again, just wanting to share the information so that people are aware. And I'm not doing it to gain followers or gain likes. I'm doing it to see, where are the people? Where's the network? Obviously there, it seems to me, from my perspective, there are more of us than what there are of them. So how come we can't overcome and have the conversation and ask the questions and just get a true consensus of how people are really feeling and what is a good strategy. How should this be handled? What should we be doing? And ultimately, what is the freaking truth?
Well, that will end up to be a much deeper story because isn't that interesting? Again, now adding the astrological aspect, we have right now Sagittarius, polarity to Gemini. So Sagittarius is about the truth.
And isn't the Gemini the one that wants to pick things apart?
Yeah, absolutely. But also we have to watch out for the trickster. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
there's so many
Well,
things.
and we are coming up on a full moon in Gemini
Yeah,
in Sagittarius. Oh, this is a perfect combination for us. We will get down to the bottom of the barrel, I believe.
absolutely. But
It's a
listen, I
perfect
would like,
time.
Kirsty, I would actually like to go back to the article, what was actually concerning us
Oh, yeah.
uh,
Okay, so
with that whole information.
I have the article here.
And folks, I will link down below in the information, the article, so you can actually read it for yourself. For myself, because I'm actually in a healing and wellness, what my concern was is that the way they were describing this whole new generation of the kids that are going to be born is that they will have a hard time to connect with the folks talking about challenges. And another things is that they will in the beginning look like what we would call today children with the ADHD or um, any other things issue of what the kids are facing today, Asperger and stuff. So that parents will have a hard time, and I really believe not just the parents, but also the society may have a hard time to actually figure out how to handle them. So that was the biggest issue of what was actually concerning me.
Let me read from the article if you don't
Yes,
mind.
absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
Please.
I'll skip the beginning part. Anybody can go there and read it. I have my own opinion about that. I'm a I'm a person of this era, so I'm I have my own opinion about it. And I don't want to make up anybody's mind for them. So just go read the top part. But the thing that we were really concerned about were these children that will be born in this generation 2027, and they call them raves.
Mm-hmm.
And it says features and strengths. After 2027, the solar plexus center will become the center of mindfulness. Consequently, people born after this year will have a lot of potential for emotional awareness. Rahu spoke about the main features of the raves: external emotionlessness, social detachment from other people, vegetarianism, hypersensitive skin, problems with speech, poor eyesight, lack of desire for knowledge, differences in body graph. Rapes will look like they are disabled and will be perceived as such by parents at first. In order for the mutation to occur, they must be combined into groups, pents, P-E-N-T-S, combined with each other. This reminded me of the movie The Minority Report. Groups of 3 to 5 rapes will help them merge into one consciousness in which they will communicate with each other. It is the moment of merging that will be considered the true birth of rave. This shared consciousness will be the structure that will govern each rave and penta at the same time. The energy informational field of their unification will emit and receive frequencies. This will be possible due to the transformation of the solar plexus center. They will communicate in this field, so poor eyesight and speech problems will not interfere with their communication. Together, rapes will be much stronger and more effective than any person. Interaction of raves and people. Raves will not be interested in people's lives. They will be indifferent. to our spiritual material values. They do not need our territory. They will not consider a person either as a computer or a partner as much as a possible distance and interacting with each other. Due to limited contacts and lack of mutual understanding, people in raves will exist as if in parallel realities. Um, Raves will create their own separate civilization to which we will be denied access due to lack of understanding of the processes occurring between them. We will never get access to their world of their frequencies. They will not live like us. The only thing that a rave will depend on us and people is their birth. After all, it is the representatives of human species that will be their parents. And then it talks about changes after
Mhm.
2027 in years.
Yeah, that
Um,
was a pretty tough one when we were reading that for the first time, and it just looked like it's just amazing. And that's where we started to question the concern about the programming us into that direction.
yeah, yeah. And then they go on to talk about in a few more paragraphs how they will not eat animal food. So people will be disconnected from the animal world. People will become vegetarians. Pets will run wild. Some animals will suffer from previously unknown diseases. Um, Golos notified Rahu of the upcoming global disasters of man-made or natural nature, which we are already witnessing all over the world. So as you continue to read through, and I think we have now I'm off the article, but Magdalene, I think you and I have done so much research
Mm-hmm.
together
Mm-hmm.
over the past like 4 years now that we have learned how to read through the lines,
Yeah.
um, and question what is the intent of programming us this way.
Well, to me, it was very much, immediately to me, it was look like a climate change and then
Hmm.
15-minute cities and everything else. So it was so obvious. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Yeah, the vegetarianism,
exactly. Well, yeah,
the
yeah.
the we don't need. um Well, here's another thing that immediately comes to mind is the thing that everybody was taking that,
Mm-hmm.
you know, what if they already knew that some of these things, the emotionlessness, the eye problems, the hypersensitive skin, um, the body graft differences, how maybe they can't eat meat. They won't be able to digest it. So that's an internal digestive thing.
Well, guess
How they
what?
will look
Listen,
disabled to their parents at first.
guess what? I don't know. Did you find any? We've been actually going through the research that we found that people who got the injection, they are getting adverse reaction to the meat.
So this to me, this looks like someone is
Mm-hmm.
behind this to say, oh, well, it's a generational thing versus it was we fucked you guys all up from the vaccine. And these are the not only is it affecting, and maybe it doesn't affect you, but it's going to affect your children or your children's children, you know, kind of thing. Because these are all physical things.
Well, that's the whole thing. What is really happening? This is what we were questioning. That okay, these are the things that we've been is put in front of us, but also with that they are trying to tell you there is no other way. That is the only way. Well,
Yeah.
but we know that when you because my point is always there's for everything in the world there's an antidote, meaning that I've been researching also what's really going with the chemtrails, and there is a solution for it. So there's
Mm-hmm.
not everything what they are trying to tell us. And that's maybe one of the reasons they are actually trying to censor us. This is why they are actually trying to take away the information from us. This is the reason why they are trying to take the internet away from us. But on the some level, we as a human being, we always can get to the certain information because the body will give you the information. You just have to. And this, I think, what this whole thing in reality is when the human being is pushed in the corner and said, well, that's it, you will always if you are inspired and you are fighting for your life, you will always find information and solution if you're digging deep enough.
I agree. I think the earth does that as well.
Yes.
I do believe it as a living, most people want to say sentient being. If that's the term we're going to use, then I'm okay with that.
Mhm.
I do believe that the earth will say, hey, I've had enough, and she's going to get rid of us before she starts to destroy herself. So if it comes with um, natural bad weather, or things versus the manipulated weather or the things that are being put into the air to cause harm to the environment, such as the chemtrails, which, by the way, I'm going to dub the term right here and now the chemtrail cough, because it always seems to happen a good day after. Um, but I do believe that if we can naturally, or we're allowed to, well, I don't want to say allowed to, but if we were to think outside the box or just go back to the basics of, let me go work with the earth, let me get back to nature, let me work with the thing that nature gives to us, and of course we know that these things are free and nobody can make money off of it. Natural things can't be patented. Big
Oh,
pharma's
that's
not
the
going to make
biggest
money off of
issue.
it.
That's the
Government's not going to make money off of it, so it's all banned. It's all it's no good for you. It's all, I mean, how could God's creation, I mean, look at the hypocrisy. How could God's creation, ourselves, and everything on this in this realm be so bad for you that it has to be destroyed or harmed, and we've got to pump ourselves up or the planet up with so much freaking chemicals?
Well, because this
I mean,
is
that's
exactly the bottom line, what we were actually, what is our concern, that,
yeah.
there's misinformation that, they are actually just putting that misinformation and they are hiding, or the true information is actually taken away or shut down or destroyed. I mean, just think in the past what they were doing. They were burning the library of Alexandria so that people will not be able to get to the knowledge. But what is amazing that people were still able to hide or put in the safe place certain information.
Well,
Or,
it is why we, you know, started the People's Inspiration Network. One is to
Mhm.
archive this information, to gather the data, to hopefully share the information and help inspire others to look at it for themselves, their and make up their own minds, gain their own perspectives. And we're not saying, I would definitely, not be one to say, oh no, it has to be all 100%, you have to pick a side. I mean, combine them together. That seems to be what works, best for everyone. There's great technology in medicine, and in science. Not
well,
everything.
one thing what is hugely concerned for me is, yes, let's work together, but you cannot mandate or put on somebody else to apply what you think and not allow that person to have a different choice. And
Oh,
we know actually from the point that you cannot mandate or put in the law something so long you are actually there is a solution from the other side, period. So long there is solutions, that you can solve that issue or problem, with something else, you cannot, they cannot do that.
That is true. That is, if there is another, I'm gonna use these terms because that's what we're all used to. If there is another antidote to, let's say, the common
Or
cold, or
solution.
solution, then there cannot be a requirement, there
Exactly.
cannot be a law, there cannot be a mandate, which, let's just be clear, the statutes are not laws, mandates are not laws.
Mhm.
If you know your real rights and you know your real laws, then we sit above all of that anyway. You're not, you're only giving consent because you're uninformed about your real rights. No one has the right to tell you, first of all, to do something to yourself that can harm you.
Mhm.
So, in my opinion, putting on a mask or taking, chemical injections under the guise of health, when it's experimental, then that is something that could harm you. We have beyond enough proof of that at this point. But again, if you want to do those things, feel free to be part of the
Exactly.
experiment.
That's
If you want
exactly
to,
what I'm
feel
talking
free.
about. Talking
Yeah,
about.
I make no judgment of other people for doing that. I'm just saying, don't force that on me. That's not, we always wanted just to have our choice and just to have our say, to say, isn't this other thing possible, or these other things possible? Let's also look at that. A true scientist, a good scientist in any experiment would say, what are these other possibilities? And
Mhm.
they're not doing that. So, I mean, you know where that's coming from. And we just have to find a workaround. That's right now, if we continue down this path, we have to find solutions or strategies in the workaround. And I think we've done pretty good so far. Um, can't wait to see what they're going to throw at us next. So, I mean, elections are coming up.
Oh yeah, I mean, one thing is that is actually a very harmful. That they, look, like I said, they are really going just in one direction and not allowing other aspects to be added, and then just labeling. And in this way, actually, this is how you are actually producing such a negative energy and manipulation. That's what is actually confusing people, because if somebody is not informed enough, people will believe what they are reading. And
Yeah.
we know that everything what is written, it's not necessarily the truth. And also, another things what is hugely important here, that we are dealing with many different layers, so that the layers are even interfering, or realities are interfering. So what is the way one reality works, it may not be that the next one is working on totally different levels. So there's a lot of, how they will say in the matrix, that the matrix is hacking the matrix, or the reality is hacking the reality. The
Well, let me ask you your opinion on this. Do you think, I guess this is going to be a two-part question. Do you think that many people are, watching fragmented news, propaganda news, to where they believe those things? Do you really believe there are that many people left doing that? Or do you think that it's more paid for influencers that are pushing the message? Because if anybody's watched that movie, oh gosh, what, it was on Netflix. I forget the name of it now, with um uh oh, I'll have to look up the name of the movie. um Leonardo DiCaprio was in it, and they were talking about the world was ending. Don't Look Up. That's the name of the movie. It
Okay.
was
Mhm.
kind of good. And I thought it was really interesting because it was the first time I'd ever seen in a movie where they were um, using social media statistics to create their policy and legislation. It got me, I'm like, wow, is that really happening? To where, some influencers is putting out information, the ticker is going up, the likes are going up, the influencers being paid, whether we know it or not. The propaganda is being put out there, and the model, the policy, the legislation is swinging back and forth, the pendulum swinging back and forth based on the comments, and we don't know if those things are bots. We don't know if those things are paid
Exactly. That's,
for. We
yeah,
don't know if
exactly.
that's reality, but that's what
Well,
the
guess what?
lawmakers will say the consensus is. So they're like, well, you all want this because social media bots say that you want this. And we're all out here going, wait, what minute? We don't even watch that. I don't even have an account. I don't know what you're talking about.
What if actually it's the AI, or what if it's the chatbots, the what, how you call the chat?
So computer generated, because we know AI doesn't
Absolutely.
really exist.
Yeah,
I don't, I
absolutely.
mean, yeah, it could definitely be computer generated. And I think it's one of the things that it is very frustrating to me, because I do want to get to the bottom of it. I've only found such little information about it. So if anyone out there actually has more statistical information on it, I would love to see it.
Mhm.
How they, or are they really using computer generated models to create policy, to ramp up or amp up their likes or their following? I have videos from other countries of what do they call, streaming farms
Mhm.
and influencer farms. Never knew it existed. Just found out about it in the last month. I would have never, I've never seen it. I would have never been able to wrap my head around it. And it's just a room with tripods and phones on the tripods,
Mhm.
and they're watching the stream to boost the stream. If you boost the stream, your stream gets kicked up the charts, right? So you're
Mhm.
seeing better. You're beating the algorithm. You're cheating the algorithm. And I know how to do that. I did that in Facebook a long time ago when I created the network there, or a network there. Um, again, it was just a workaround. Um, and if I know how to do it, I'm not I'm
Yeah,
not a
I
genius,
betcha.
but if I know how
Betcha.
to do it, I'm sure these kids, geniuses, are they I'm sure they know how to do it. And then these influencer farms, it was basically a studio, and in the studio they had these little cubicle areas just for visuals. They Let's say they had, a big conference room, or like a flex office space, and it was a pretty big room, probably, let's say, 50 feet by 50 feet. And along the walls and in the center, they had these cubicles. And but the cubicles would have high walls, and so each influencer got their little box, basically, and in that little box they were set up to sell their wares. So they
Mhm.
would and some influencers had bigger boxes. It's kind of like going to the flea market, or going to to rent the booth to sell your thing, or to the trade show and you have your booth. Or at a hair salon, each of those, the hairstylist has their own booth. So imagine it like that, and you could rent your box, basically, and set up your wares, or what you're going to sell, and they were just selling all day long in this little box.
Mhm.
It was, I just, so so who's to say what's real and what's not? And yet policy and legislation is being written based on that.
Well, I would like to add one thing. Remember, we were questioning. Actually, I've been totally frustrated about this AI system because I actually I was ordering the book just recently, and it was stuck in the things just before they're delivered to the PO box. It was stuck on the assembly line for 6 days
Mm-hmm.
because there was no human being to pull or take this out and just allow to read it manually. I mean, can you imagine? And another things is, remember my story when I was in Europe right now this year in May, and I had to actually change the ticket, or actually I had to get myself a new ticket, and my whole challenging experience with the PayPal. That I was trying to order online a ticket, and I thought using PayPal it would be easier for me, so that things with the money back and everything else. Well, it turned out that actually the PayPal took immediately the money out, but I never got the confirmation. And so I had to order another ticket, and I tried to dispute the things, the situation. They went in the favor for the company. I tried to do my bank and everything. Make the story short, I had to actually I reported them to the attorney general. They helped me to find another link to where I can go, and it went actually on the federal level, and I got my money back. But they were trying to withhold the money. So,
I remember that was quite frustrating and
oh yeah,
lengthy for you. Yeah.
oh absolutely. It went almost 5 months until the situation get dissolved. But the reason why I'm sharing this is that people think that there's nothing they can do about. Yes, you can do it about, but one thing what you have to do, you have to talk to people. Find where you can get people online, or that interaction, not the AI. And I did,
Yeah, it was. I think you did get stuck in you got stuck in an automated system, and
yes.
until you could yeah, it was. I remember it was very frustrating. I had
But
one of
guess
those
what?
situations myself, and I'm still stuck in it. So
Yeah.
I feel your pain. I think a lot of people do. And at the time, much like myself, I'm like, screw it. I just don't have time for this. It's frustrating.
But what the reason why I'm sharing is that guess what? If they're right now looking for the digital money, this is exactly what can happen.
Yeah.
That was just a precursor that can happen in many other directions. If we as a people are just saying, well, there's not much that we can do about. Yes, you can do about, but if you're not willing to actually engage yourself or take action, of course, there's nothing that you can do about. And this is what we've been trying to actually to bring the entire conversation. The bottom line of the conversation is, you know, all these influences, all this misinformation, all these things what they are trying to take away. It's like, you know what? If you're not standing up that you want to have that, they will take it away. That's it. And also they will try to push their agenda, and do you like it or not? I mean, the point becomes is that where we as a humanity are standing right now. Are we still are gonna be a human beings, or we are kind of just saying, oh, okay, I am fine, I'm just kind of playing, being a half human, half machine.
Well, I think another question is, and I think it's great to put the information out there and hope to inspire people to say, this is enough. And it will inspire them to write to their local mayors, board of county commissioners, governors, attorney generals, and maybe people don't know how to do that, or they don't think that something will happen. It will happen. We've gotten responses back just from doing it ourselves, and maybe but I think the majority of people will think that, oh, it won't happen here. It won't happen to me. What can I do? I'm just one person. There's a lot of things that you could do, a lot of, and I hope that just sharing this information will inspire people to say, I don't agree with this. And your letter can be really simple.
Absolutely.
You can just email. The email doesn't cost you anything. It can just be really, really simple. Find out who your representatives are and send them an email. Hey, you better not vote this way. We're going to vote for somebody else if you do, or we don't agree with that.
You know
I
what?
think that's more of a true thing versus them making legislation off of, social media
Yeah,
automation.
exactly. And also, we've been talking so much about that, and other people are sharing the same point. You know what? If you're not willing to stand up, and really do your job, we've been saying this about this for how many times. If you're not willing to do your job, then take off and let somebody else do it. Don't collect the money, because the oldest decisions you are making here, they things humanity is paying with we as people, we are paying with our taxes and everything else for all those decisions they are putting for the war or change this or and many other things. They don't care, because they do not have a responsibility and account. Nobody is holding them accountable.
Yeah, and it's not money out of their pocket. They're
It's
making
not a
plenty
money.
of money.
Thank you. That's the key.
Yeah.
That's the key here. And you know what? I mean, people can be creative about that. But if many people will say, you know what, this is enough, take let's stop them, for every time they're not doing the job, don't get paid. Because that's
Yeah.
what's happening
Well,
to the
I love
people.
that idea.
Okay.
Yeah, you can ask them to hey, we don't agree with this. They're not representing us. We're going to make an amendment to reduce this elected official's pay down to $1
Ah,
and see how
absolutely.
quick they
Hey,
turn around. You can also do that on a local level, and I love that idea. You got to hit them where it hurts, unfortunately, is in the pocket. I mean, that's what they always say. You got to hit them where it hurts. And if your local, your state and federal government isn't representing you, you can make that request. Anybody can. Keep in mind, these people work for us.
well, one thing is, this is what they are doing to people. So if it's working, for them to the people, why can it work from in the opposite direction?
Absolutely, it does actually. Again, knowing, and I hope that we can, um, once we get past the holidays, we'll be able to do some, what did I want to call it? Like some exercises so that we can show people, um, through video exercise,
Hmm.
their real rights, the things to say, the symposium type thing, so people can learn it and feel more comfortable with it. We were taught in my generation to fear the law.
Yeah. Oh, right now, as you're talking about it, something that just kind of hit me. Okay, folks, I am not quite sure. Are you aware about the Health Organization? They are trying to actually take the world over, but people have to respond by December 1st. So if you wanted to check out maybe James Raguski, he's very much active about that. And another things, you can actually read more on the Door to Freedom. Those people are very active. So, I mean, these are just a little simple information or simple aspect, but there's so much more there outside that you can do. But again, please, it's about your freedom. It's not just about my freedom on Christian freedom. It's your freedom too. So, you know, okay, lady. Let's just say this. What else do you want to share before we are kind of closing down slowly?
Wow, how much time do you have?
Yeah, I know. I was giving
These
extra time.
these conversations
I
can
know.
go on for a while. Um, well, we're constantly upgrading and building the network, and anyone who would like to share their wares, and this is globally. We're not just inside the United States, and we're trying to share the information for people. Hopefully it will inspire them to learn their real rights and stand up for themselves, and take action where they feel the need to.
Mhm.
And that is our www.peoples-inspiration.network. And you can always email us if you would like to be listed on the network. It's free. There's no cost to that. And
I will
that
put
is
also the link into the things information below.
thank you.
Mhm.
peoples-inspirational-network@gmail.com.
Awesome.
And I always thank you for having me.
You were welcome. And I mean, as we said in the beginning, this conversation can go on and on and on. We were just kind of taking the fraction of so much more what we always have and chat about. But we thought, these informations are hugely important, especially right now that we are under the huge pressure, what's really going on in astrologically also. So, and I just wanted to thank you, and we are hoping that all our little chat was actually beneficial for you. And thank you so much for listening. And until next time, take good care of yourself. Night, night.
Good night. Thank you.
Bye.